And let's bring in CTV's Jeremie Charron from Ottawa to talk a little bit more about this survey and the race and how things are shaping up. But let's stick with the survey first. Negotiations are oh so important at this juncture. And Carney, not surprisingly, I guess, probably the one people would like to see.
Yeah, they're interesting numbers, Roger, because, you know, it's the first time we've seen Carney kind of head-to-head in some polling against Pierre Poilievre. Important to note, this is not election polling. The latest Nanos election polling, as well as most public opinion polls, still have the Conservatives leading the way, you know, ahead with a healthy gap ahead of the Liberals. But this is interesting to note that through this survey, you know, Canadians who were asked feel as though they think Mark Carney would do a better job negotiating with Donald Trump than Pierre Poilievre, as well as the other Liberal leadership candidates. Of course, Mark Carney, the front runner in that Liberal leadership race. And so when you put kind of the potential Liberal leader head-to-head against the Conservative leader, the current Conservative leader, most Canadians who answered this survey feel as though Mark Carney is better suited and would do a better job negotiating with Donald Trump. Again, the big question will be whether or not that translates at all into election polling and whether we see any kind of movement in that sustained gap that we have seen between the Conservatives and the Liberals. The other big factor here is what will be the ballot question. The Liberals, of course, especially given you know, these kind of numbers that we're seeing, the data that we're seeing from questions like this, will want the ballot question to be U.S.-Canada relations, the negotiation with Donald Trump. The Conservatives will continue to try and focus on the carbon tax, make this a carbon tax election. We've heard that over and over again. The big question is what kind of an impact will this have ultimately, Roger, on the election polling and, of course, ultimately on a general election? That is still unknown.
And with the carbon tax, when you've had Carney and Freeland coming out essentially saying they'd tweak it or change it, that's kind of losing steam. So it could shape up that the whole tariff thing could be the big question.
Yeah, absolutely. That's certainly what the Liberals are hoping for. If they start to pick up steam on you know that topic, you can expect them to keep hitting it hard, of course, and pitching themselves as the party that is best suited to deal with Donald Trump. It's all going to come down to what that you know, election focus is. The other thing this survey looked at, Roger, is you know, a number of questions surrounding tariffs, surrounding the U.S.-Canada relationship, and a lot of the things Donald Trump has been criticizing Canada for. When it comes to whether or not Canada should respond or how Canada should respond, when given you know, various options as to how Canada could respond to the potential of tariffs, 58% support retaliation, immediate retaliation with retaliatory tariffs by Canada. That's up from 29% of Canadians who felt that way in December. 21% said that Canada should be focused on negotiating a lifting of the tariffs. In December, that was 47% of Canadians. So many have shifted their approach when it comes to how Canada should handle this. They feel as though we should be more focused now on a retaliation rather than efforts to try and minimize these tariffs or have these tariffs removed. When it comes to what that retaliation should look like, Roger, we're talking about significant support for a wide range of retaliatory measures. 78% of people support and 10% support pulling alcohol off the shelves across provinces. We saw a lot of premiers talk about that when the tariffs were being rolled out. Dollar for dollar tariff response, 68% of Canadians support that, 21% somewhat support it. And then cutting off export, energy exports, which is something that has been widely talked about as a negotiating tool. 51% of Canadians support that, 25% somewhat support that. The survey also showed, Roger, that there is widespread support for increased defense spending in Canada. That's also been obviously another big topic.
Okay, so lots ahead still. CTV's Jeremie Charron, thank you.